Welcome to Fatboy FadeAway Sports Podcast, episode 159. For dinner, Tyler, as he comes to do it to wake us up on a Sunday morning here. Tyler, crazy football game ended last night with between the Lions and the Cowboys. Make sure you report people. That's the lesson from last night. Always turn in your report. We always got to make sure they make eye contact with you. Know it's down. They wrote it down in the little book. That's what you got to make sure you report it. Tyler, how you doing out there Sunday morning? It's been a while since we've done a Sunday morning.
It's been months and months. I'm doing all right. I think I got your sickness through the computer screen last time we talked. I have a little flab. My throat's starting to get a little sore. But like I said, I love talking to you on Sunday mornings. This is our home. This is what we do.
Fatboy FadeAway Sports with you. Last one of the year. I thought Tuesday was going to be the last one. We're going to sneak another one in here on New Year's Eve. Since you're getting sick, you're probably doing nothing.
No, never do. I'm too old for that. Too much. I don't want to go out there with the drunk drivers and all the pandemonium. Stay home, enjoy your families, have a couple glasses of wine at home.
Cricklewood used to be the tradition in this household. We used to go to Cricklewood. My mom's birthday is tomorrow, so that always kind of made it kind of fun when she had New Year's Day as her birthday there. So New Year's is always kind of it's just always like an event around that time for us. So so big thanks. School's out for me. It's been nice, Tyler, to have I've still gone into work a couple times this week, but man, out of school, that grind with coaching. I mean, it's been nice to have a couple of days off here. But it was terrible before because I was sick. So now I feel a lot better here. A couple of days off. Not going to complain about it. But man, I definitely needed it. I'll say needed that teaching schedule. Needed it before. Variety Sports Network. You can check us out on there as well. Be sure to leave a comment. We're going to get into some of the baseball NBA here. Some New Year's stuff. Kind of some of the best of 2023. Appreciate anybody that's joined us. We'll get into our shout outs as well. Tyler, there was a team last night that lost. They broke their 28-game losing streak. I was thinking, have you ever been a part of anything that's lost that much? Or what was the team that you remember that couldn't win? Did the Niners ever go on a losing streak like that?
The Dennis Erickson days got pretty ugly, 2-14, but not a streak like that. Personally, it would be my San Jose high school senior year football team. There was no chance. We'd go out there every week knowing we were going to lose 45-0. We were going to get our asses handed to us. We were going to roll out right and throw the ball to one man and one man only. But
we're going to have 120-pound man as our middle linebacker.
I can't think of a thing like this in professional sports where 28 in a row.
The Niners never won in 15. How about that Kaepernick year? Did you guys lose 14 straight at the end of the year? Or did you win one at the end?
The
Giants
with Brian Keller, or not Brian Keller, Chip. I don't think we were ever one of them.
Days were on a bad losing streak last year. I think they lost
to start the year.
I think they lost 14 there. What was it, 18 straight almost? And then the Raiders, I remember they lost 16 straight when it went to 2 years. That was pretty bad. They lost a full season worth of football games. So I was thinking about the Pistons last night because they were on 28 games as they ended up pulling it out. Last
Didn't
night.
the Wizards have a terrible start to the season? The Westbrook year when they started off 2.
So the Cavs had the record, and I think the Washington was up there as well. So I was just thinking losing because that's not something you like to do. So roll right. I will remember that for San Rosa. Anything else you guys been up to with the Christmas tree still up there?
The Christmas tree still up. Goes out probably tomorrow or sometime this week while she's on a little break from work. The restaurant shut down, so give me a time and a place to get rid of that Christmas tree and take it to. But the thing about the Pistons, back to that real quick, some people had them going to the playoffs. People I respected and talk sports on different networks and stuff. And they are god awful.
Started 2-1, Tyler. They were on fire. They should have. I remember I was listening to the game last night a little bit. To the Pistons announcers. They could have been 3-0. They lost to Miami. So I thought that was kind of funny. They could have been 3-0. So they ended up getting it. So losing streaks. They had to break it at 28. It got to feel good to see that W1 next to their name. It does say 1-9 next to L10, but we won't look at that. We'll stay away from that category.
Have you ever been on a team that
couple other things. No, not that. Well, when I was first coaching teams that were bad, I remember at Windsor we lost 2 straight years. You know what I mean? Kind of that same idea. So I remember that happening. Precious to the Knicks looks good. I was going to ask, that was the next thing on my list, was we got a trade yesterday. We had our guy, OG, finally gets traded. It makes me think that maybe the other guy might end up on the Warriors here. But I don't know. What'd you think of it? I kind of favored it towards the Knicks, but every time there was a poll, it kind of favored the Raptors, I think, because they got the two players. Barrett has been scoring pretty well. He does average 18 a game. But, in some ways, he feels a little one-dimensional in those areas. But quickly, to me, I don't know. That's the only one where I feel like the Raptors maybe we'll see at the end of the day if that he comes back to burn the Knicks. But what did you make of the trade?
I mean, I'm not as high on OG as a lot of
Tyler,
people
can you hear me? No.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, my internet was. Yep, I got you.
I'm not as high on OG as a lot of people are. I know he's a good defender, but his offense, to me, still leaves a lot to be desired. He doesn't, put the ball in the basket consistent enough to give away two, young players who can score. RJ's obviously limited on the defensive end. He doesn't even play in the fourth quarters of Knicks games because the coach doesn't trust him. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, former Bulls coach. And then I'm really big on Emmanuel Quickley. He was one of the front runners for Sixth Man of the Year. He just provides instant offense. He can be a microwave. And I'm not a big OG guy, so I don't understand the trade outside. Is OG, Brunson, and Randall better than the four they had before? I just don't see it. I think OG coming onto the team makes it so Randall is going to have more offensive possessions, which can be very inefficient, as the past two playoff series have shown. So I don't know. I'm not big on this trade for the Knicks. I hope it works out for him.
I think OG's more Thibodeau's guy, though.
No, I'd agree there because he plays defense. He is a defensive
Slap
guy.
the floor. Slap it. Precious. He plays that style. He's kind of aggressive like that. That's kind of the way he plays. So I think it's more of a style thing too. I think Quickly maybe hurts a little bit, but I think Barrett in some ways wasn't ever Thibodeau's style. He got better. I feel like this year was the year he was playing better, so it was kind of weird to me they traded him this year out of all the years. But I guess that meant they got the most value for him at this point. Who's the other guy I can't think of on the Raptors right now? The other wing.
Scotty Barnes.
No, the other one that's going to get traded. People are talking about
Siakam.
Yeah, do you think he ends up? Do you think there's a Warriors Moody trade out there for him?
I don't think
they even help the Warriors.
Give him up. Oh, he'd help him a lot. I think
they got to change something. The culture.
The Warriors are dead.
They lost again last night. Luka does whatever he wants, and Clay goes 1 for 11.
Steph goes 6 for 15 or terrible. So it's bad.
So what do they do? Is that the trade they make, or they just write it out?
I mean, they're gonna have to give up more than Moody as the base of it. It'll have to include Wiggins or Draymond.
Wiggins would be in it. It'd be Wiggins and Moody.
I didn't hear you say Wiggins. Yeah, I would. I mean, if they can get that done, add some first-round picks.
They probably want Kuminga, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, they definitely want Kuminga. If that's the only guy who's worth trading for on the Warriors.
Well, now the Warriors have lost 3 straight.
Now that they lost 3 straight?
Now the Warriors have lost 3 straight.
Yeah.
We talked about them on Tuesday that you're like, we're playing a little better. Oh, they lose Christmas.
We were playing a little better.
Now all of a sudden, Kerr's back to this. We don't have any grit to our team, and Tyler. And that's the thing with is this a reflection of Curry? I don't get it. They're in the 12th seed, right? And it's weird to think of them this low in it. I mean, I think the Rockets they can pass eventually here. I think the Rockets fall. I was telling Doug, it's if I look at the standings, the only 2 teams I really see, unless the Suns and Lakers get injured, is the Pelicans and the Rockets falling out. So if that's the case, maybe there's a Mavericks fall like last year, but I don't see it right now. So the Warriors have a lot of work to be done.
I don't think the Warriors can do anything to make the playoffs at this point. Curry's their only good player. Wiggins is too inconsistent. Clay is when he's bad, he's the worst player in the world.
Would they trade Clay? Is it at this point now? We always say no, but
I would trade him at this point. I think I was with trading them in a couple weeks ago. I don't get. But who's
going to the Lakers?
Who wants Clay?
Michael Thompson, the Lakers announcer. He wants
announcer. Well, that's good. Now his dad wants him. That's very positive.
Can we get him to the? Would you trade him to the Pistons for Bogdanovich or Bogdanovich?
I would. I like Bogdanovich. I see a lot of Pistons fans ripping on him, but I don't know. At least he's 6'10" and can rebound a little bit.
Yeah, that's my thing with the Rockets. I just feel like the injuries are kind of hitting them, and then we'll hit some other teams. We'll see what the Draymond effect is. I feel like Draymond, like there's certain games like this, like they lost the Heat. They didn't even have Butler. Like we have games like that where we're just dropping, and so now they lost 2 straight at home on an 8-game home streak. An 8-game streak doesn't look good. Tyler right now does not look good. Donic does whatever he wants against him.
He does that to anybody.
I do that.
I mean, throw every piece we have at him except for Curry.
And I think that's Curry's only the move they have to make, Tyler. They're in extreme mode right now. If they want to win a championship this year, a trade.
They're not winning one this year.
No, I said a trade has to be made. Like it has to be. It has to be an extreme trade too. Can't be like some little trade. It has to be. We're getting more than one piece, maybe even. Like, all right, we're getting him, and then we're going to go out and get Levine too. We're going to get 2 scores, something like crazy like that. See you
trade for Pau Gasol and give up Kwame Brown and
see you later,
like something like that. Yeah, I never expected to see Dylan Brooks' injury being like a big drop off for a team, but he has motivated a team in a way I did not see coming.
He stares at people. I like
makes love with them with their eyes.
I wish more defenders would do that though in basketball. Like just the approach of like as soon as you score, getting in the point guard's face and just making it a little bit harder. I guess maybe the defensive fouls that they call on softness and stuff like that is part of the reason you can't do it anymore. But I wish you could do that a little bit more, where like you just would get in the person's face right as soon as they inbound the ball, just set a statement right from the get-go. Come on, we got to do that a little more. So I got that going on with the NBA. We saw that LeBron's foot I saw was on live. He turned 39. Can't believe he's my age. Unbelievable.
He's ridiculous as a player, and as a hater of him, he's ridiculous as well. How he goes over to the screen, starts pointing.
That meme
rubs me the wrong way.
That meme out there, I see if I can get it. That was great. Now look, it's on the line. It's on the line.
It's too much. It's too much, LeBron. Relax. He's one of the best players ever, too. So, like, I see it both ways. I just hate it.
That was great.
Have you ever seen a guy be so over dramatic about foul calls and like I don't know, like the one in Boston last year where he gets on his knees and it's insane.
Get on your knees and tell me I love you. That
you filthy animal.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, you're gonna see that because you're gonna see a lot of pictures of people putting their own pictures in that screen of LeBron.
Yeah.
Hey, right there, buddy. Right there. That's great. But it turned out as just one shoe size too big, and he ends up making that on the line. So I bet if like you know what I mean, if he's not in his shoe, he's behind the line. But he's in a shoe. That was as close as it gets. But I don't.
No, absolutely. I don't ever feel bad for him.
So that one.
Will he apologize? Do you think he will apologize to the refs for?
He might. I just can't believe he's my age. 39. That's good. That's what.
Happy birthday, LeBron. Happy birthday, Tiger Woods as well.
If Doug was here, he'd love you right now. Come on, Doug.
Yeah.
All right, so we got that with it. I was thinking NBA wise too. If Sniffer just stay there with it. Are you like me, where you're like, no, I can't believe the Wolves or OKC actually make the finals? Is this actually is a reality? Like these two teams could make it?
I'd be hard pressed to bet on them, but I don't think the Wolves will.
So you're just like me. You're not thinking like
I'm with you. Yeah. I think Anthony Edwards is great, but
you think barely fall to the ground, Tyler.
Once again, we look at past playoff performances. Gobert has been taken advantage of constantly. Like there's guys who can help you win in the regular season, even though he didn't last year in Gobert, and there's guys in the playoffs who just are going to kill you because they're so one-dimensional.
Maybe Edwards makes up for some of that in the defense. There's certain matchups, like he said, against Jokic. Maybe that's why he plays a little bit more of a factor. You guys like Gobert. So you're like me. You don't quite see them as finals contenders yet.
No. Do you think Gobert can slow down Jokic? I just don't think he can.
No, he just gets 5 fouls on. He builds up the total. All right. So so that's what I said. So you have right now the Warriors would have to. They would have, and then you have the Grizzlies who are kind of coming on there a little bit with them, so they have to kind of deal with them too, getting a little better in the record wise. So we'll see what happens there with Ja returning. tuning to Double. We talked about Ja's return there. Tyler, I know we've been tweeting about it a little bit during the week as well. All right, so got that part with it. All right, what should the NBA? It's just a crazy thought. Is there a world where they ever get rid of the corner three?
No. What do? You just take away the corner three?
You just like
I guess it could. That seems absurd.
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, is there a world where they ever got rid of it? They just go back to it. Like maybe it doesn't have to be like the whole quarter, but maybe just like angle it out from the quarter there. So you have to be on your tippy toes to make it from the from the real quarter. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, does it make offense too easy in the NBA? So I don't know.
I mean, when's the last time they made
it's a crazy thought. I know. Whatever.
Last time they made a rule that the offense made offense harder and less points on the board. So I just don't see that happening. I wouldn't mind it. I like kind of crazy ideas at times. That's not too. Wouldn't affect the game that much as far as it's like. I guess there'd be less corner threes for sure.
All right,
but I don't think it'd affect like how the games look.
Well, I don't know. I just thought it's always a crazy thought to me how coaches would have to adjust because I feel like the corner three makes offense just a little easier to design at times. You can take advantage of that. All right, hey, little trivia for you this time. I had a couple others. All right, NBA trivia. Who were co-rookies of the year in 1999-2000? Co-NBA rookies of the year 1999-2000.
1999.
2000.
So that was a 99 draft. That was drafted in the 99 draft. I haven't.
I'll give you a clue. One of them went to Duke.
Elton Brand.
Mm-hmm. That's correct. He is one of them. Who was
Elton
the co?
Brand.
He played in the same.
Caron Butler? No, he was a little later.
He played in the same conference though as Elton Brand in college.
Chris Paul? No.
No, not Christopher Paul. You're on the right track with the guard though.
Julius Hodge. Josh Howard.
Maryland will be.
Juan Dixon. No.
Lonnie
Baxter. Steve Francis in the same year as.
Yep, 1999. They were the co-rookie of the year, 2000.
I was going to Lonnie Baxter next, but you said guard.
I'm gonna have Doug. If you're listening right now, I'll give you a little cheat sheet for next week. I'm gonna test Doug on his college ones and go top 10 winning college programs since 1995-96. We'll see if you can get those ones right, Doug. That'll be your trivia question for next week. So sorry, Tyler, I had to get you on one. I thought they were. I've been now. It's good though.
That was tough.
Refresher. Remember drafted by the Grizzlies. Steve Francis did not want to play for them.
Used to play for the Grizzlies in Vancouver at the time, but
probably not a bad decision.
Didn't want to play with Big Country.
Big Country. That was his last year in the league, I think, too. So Warriors lose 3 straight. That's our thought with them. Lions, they lose last week.
One run hard line. Do you think the Warriors make the playoffs?
I think they do still. I think they get in as the 10 seed.
I don't see it.
I see the Rockets
so
and
Pelicans.
I can see the Pelicans falling out, and I see the Rockets falling out.
Due to injury for the Pelicans? I think the Pelicans are more talented.
Well, that's what we all thought last year, and it happened to them last year, too.
Well, because injury, so.
Well, I'm going to go with that.
Okay. Fair enough.
Those are the two teams I'm going to say there with them. All right, so that's our NBA a little there. You got any more on the NBA? Anything you find this week?
Top of my head, the freaking Tyrese Halliburton's unbelievable. 20 assists and 23 assists, no turnovers. Just gifted player. I mean, as much as he doesn't play any defense or the team plays no defense, they are a fun to watch when he's going. Is there anyone you could compare him?
Wiseman.
Who's the comparison for Halliburton? Is there one? I mean, there obviously is one out there.
I mean, I've thought
about Scott Skiles.
Scott Skiles. A little taller version of Scott. I'll have to think about that one. That's a good one. Scott. Yeah, but he becomes the first person since John Stockton to have back-to-back 20-point game and 20 assists. So tells you the categories that they're in. All right, NFL here, Lions. We talked about them. They go for it a lot. They don't believe in the kicker. Kicker has no confidence. Is there a point where you go for it? You just go for the kick? I mean, I thought maybe
I would have gone. I would have gone for the kick after they called the non-reporting when you're on the 7-yard line. I was like, this is absurd for him to go for it now. You really don't want to go to overtime? That's like showing no faith in your defense. If I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm going, what am I doing here as the defensive coordinator? You obviously don't believe in me. I thought that was a little crazy that they went. I mean, they did get the offsides call, and then maybe I would have gone for it again if I got that once I got that call. But after the first one, I'm not going for it on the 7-yard line.
They went for it earlier, like in the first or second quarter, when it was like 7-3 or something like that. They were down 7-3, and they could have made it 7-6, and they got no points there too. So it's an interesting strategy. I guess it's the way they live by this year.
Live by the go for it, die by the go for it. And
it's very bad-esque. It does feel like it, right? The fake punt, 30-yard line.
I've been playing a lot of Madden lately, and there is no putting allowed in this new version of Madden. Like, if you punt, you're dead in the water. As far as how the game is played, like, it's great. It looks exactly like that. The Lions,
even on like 4th and goal at the 1-yard line, everybody just goes for it.
No, they're going. No, they'll obviously go for it on the 1-yard line. They'll go for it on your own 1-yard line on like 4th and 15. They'll still go for it. Like, we got to keep the ball. We need points every possession.
Nobody believes in fighting. It's such a funny strategy when it comes to that. It's like, I can't give the ball back. It's like, we'll let happen. I cannot do it. And then I was thinking, big game for Antonio Pierce. We talked about last week on the show, or on Tuesday with the win. Big game, Antonio. Can't lose to the Colts. Can't lose to Mr. Minshew. Can't lose to Mr. Minshew. You got to win this one, Tyler. This is not acceptable. You can't be after that Chiefs one, right? You got to win this one. So we'll see if they can complete a pass after the first quarter.
Keep the good vibes going for the Raiders. What is your prediction for that game? You have one?
I'm going to say we win 16-13.
Still believing in that defense. It's good to see any defensive touchdowns this week. And Jack Jones go 3
Yes, come on, Jack. One more. Come on, Jack. We got
3
Jack.
weeks in a row, Jack.
Steal that chain. We got to get it down. We're going to do that one. We'll talk to Mr. Minshew running into the end zone. We're saying there's a chance, right? 16-13. I think we got it. You can't lose this week after that win. That the national media fell in love again. Like, I think it was more because they beat the Swifties and they beat the Chiefs. I think that was kind of a little bit more behind it. And then it's the Raiders. They have a little bit of that mystique when they are playing well. And the media took over. You can't lose after that to a Colts team, the C-Luke Colts. You cannot lose to them this week, Tyler. Cannot happen.
A lot of 10 a.m. games this week, especially affect the West Coast. I got a big fantasy championship, $1,000 on the line. If I lose, I get nothing. I win, I get $1,000. So we did big game from Purdy. Would you start Purdy or Matt Stafford?
I would definitely start. Who the Rams play again? Remind me.
The Rams, they're playing.
They play the Giants. I'd probably start Purdy.
I'm going with Purdy. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just going with Purdy. Blind loyalty. He's been my quarterback the last 5 weeks. I'm not changing it up. I got this far.
So the Raiders beat the Colts? You put money on that?
I don't bet on football. I don't believe.
You know what I mean.
I think the Raiders will beat the Colts.
You would take the Raiders on the road on a Sunday at 10 a.m. Things are changing, Mr. Pierce. That's what I'm saying. This is a big game. Raider Nation knows it.
But are they making the playoffs if they win the next 2 games? Do they get in with a 9-8 record? Like, do you really? I mean, you want to win because for the culture of Antonio Pierce, get Antonio Pierce to come back. But yeah, it just doesn't seem. I think they'll win. I think they're motivated to play. I don't even know if Josh Jacobs is playing. I don't even think Josh Jacobs affects the team one way or the other way with Zamir White back there. He looks like a stud. I think the Raiders will win 10-7.
10-7. 10-7. Pop Warner, the Windsor Knights. They get the job done.
I think it's 10-7.
Get the job done. The Raiders will stomp them out. Gosh, please. Come on, show up big for me. A little shout out to Eddie. If you're on here, Ryan, I was going to wait. Zach, this is from 2003. It's the last time the Raiders are actually relevant in the last week of the season.
Inside the 10, leading 17-0. Crockett. Into the end zone for a touchdown.
We had to show that for a little good luck this week, Tyler. A little Zach Crockett memory there. Last week, I remember it was a Saturday game. And me and my dad drove to the BART station in not Richmond, but the one right after that, the city after that, I always forget what it's called. And so we go there, and I mean, it is pouring down rain. As you can see, that field was like absolutely and I remember that same day, for some reason, I remember thinking, gosh, I wanted to really stay home and watch Kansas versus Cal, because it was like Kansas played at Cal, and it was a rare game in Oakland. I think Drew Gooden was on the team. It was that year that they played. And I was like, God, so we were listening to the game on the radio. We get there. My dad's like, let's just head back. It's pouring too hard. We'll watch the Cal game at home. So I just remember that was like the one game we went all the way to the BART station. Did not actually go for. The Raiders ended up winning 24-0, clinching the number one seed on that day. So a little Raider magic there, Ryan. Let's keep it going. Plenty of memories there with it. So if they win both and they still don't make the playoffs, there is that case too. But maybe the Chiefs lose both. They lose both. We sneak in there. You never know. You never know what's going to happen. This isn't the year. This is the year. All right. So we got that. Your Niners, they play the Commanders. It looked like Brissett was the quarterback. Now he's not. Samuel Howell's back to being the quarterback, I guess. I got breaking news from BSC Sports. So now you got Sam Howell's back in. What a weird dilemma. You guys should be able to easily – if you lose the Commanders, high alert, high alert, high alert, high alert, high alert. You got – if you lose this game.
Yeah, it'll be very
disappointing. The 1 week I think you would say we are in trouble. Like, if you lost a game like that, you'd be like, we are.
It'd be pathetic. We're favored by 14 on the road. TMB, it'll make for an interesting TMB with Brian. Who will be the blame game going on if we lose to the Commanders on the road? Will he show up is the number one answer. Yeah, I think we should handle this game. Their defense is pathetic. Sam Howell has been god-awful the last 5 weeks. He got pulled. Brissett comes in. They win a game. Did they win last week? I think they did win.
No, they almost did. They lost to the Jets on a field goal at the end.
And then he gets a tight hammy in practice this week, and we're back to Sam Howell. Big Sam Howell. I expect Purdy to bounce back. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 200-plus yards. And McCaffrey's going to get fed the rock.
More than that. You want 7 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, we want to break the record. McCaffrey's going to get fed early and often, I see in this game. That's the number one thing I expect.
Got to get McCaffrey back in the MVP race over Lamar. You got to get him back. You got to get him back in the MVP race.
Absolutely. I mean, he's still in the race, but he's got to have a big game. That's for sure.
So both those games are at 10. We'll see our Raiders play there. The other big game, is it big? Saints at Bucks. That's all I'm just kidding. So you got that one there. So your Niners, they have the chance for the number one seed. Basically, just keep winning it from this point on. You're good to go. New Year's Day games. I was trying to explain to Xavier the Orange Bowl, because he saw the bucket of oranges. He thought people got that. I was trying to explain how that works. Not everybody, that stuff. So we got Michigan, Alabama. You talked about a lot of the week before. I got a good meme coming if Michigan loses, but we'll see if they lose. Who do you got, Michigan or Alabama?
I got Alabama. I think they're too athletic up front and at the skill positions. I think the front seven in the trenches, Michigan isn't as good as they were last year, and somehow TCU took advantage of them with a slow white quarterback running the ball. Now we got a electric Jalen Milroy, who I think will take advantage, and I think Alabama wins 33-21.
All right, so you've kind of increased the score from the other one. We got C. Henry's got the of course going Michigan with them. So you got them. You got the next game. That's the Rose Bowl, right? That's the Rose Bowl. Then
that's the Rose Bowl.
What's the one next? Is it just the Fiesta Bowl? Is this?
Yeah.
Is that what this one is? Is that?
It's a Mexican party, baby.
No. I think it's the Sugar Bowl. Washington and Texas. They play in the other playoff game. You going Washington?
I want to go Washington, but I have a feeling the referees will show up and they want big Orange in that finals against Alabama.
Another Texas-Alabama matchup.
Rematch like Colt McCoy versus Greg McElroy, was it? Or who was the quarterback of Alabama?
Yeah, those are great.
But I think Texas wins this game. Close game, very high scoring. Penix shows up, the receiver, I can't think of his name, from Washington, has a good big game, but Texas by 5. I don't know. Just high scoring.
Alabama matchup. All right, so that's what Tyler's got, college football. That's the football for the week. New Year's Day, Monday. That's what you got there with it. All right. I got to go MLB for just a second here. Your Giants, they continue to miss out on the big fish again, Tyler. The Ohtani, they get the other Japanese pitcher. You guys don't sign him. Yeah, does it feel if you get like a Snell or you get a Chapman, or you get a Bellinger, you get a Montgomery. Does this ease up those pains, or is it kind of at this point you're just now expecting year in and year out? Even if you guys offer the same contract, you're not going to get it. And I guess my other thing is this a San Francisco thing? Is this is this something that like Posey's right about? Like, it's just like the tax. You add all that stuff up with it, like, so guys that aren't from this area necessarily aren't going to want to play here. Like, are you getting that vibe? As is more in tune to this.
No, I think it's the Giants franchise is just a dumpster. Like, LA has the same reputation as San Francisco, if not worse. They just have a better franchise that has better talent around them, brings in better players, and they're more willing to play with better players want to play with good players. So
what a part.
When you have Yastrzemski, Conforto as your middle of the lineup, thumpers, it's hard to go. Is Otani going to want to play with them, or Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman playing? And then that's my biggest. And then the Giants, I'm giving up. Yeah, no, I don't care if you bring in Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell.
You guys missed out on
I've seen both of those guys have bad years in the last 3 years. They're not like automatic great pitchers. That's where I don't know. The Giants are the most frustrating franchise in this area, in my opinion. As a fan.
Well, so if you get Snell, though, does that make you feel better? Like, that's what I'm saying. You get
at all.
No, so
I could see him having a 5 ERA this year. Like, I've seen him have a 4.5 2 years ago. It's not out of the – if he pitches, I'll wait and see. If he starts pitching well, I'll feel better about it. But
is there any world to get Chapman? Does Chapman help ease that pain?
Matt Chapman?
Nobody's easing this pain for
no one's easing the pain of just not being able to sign anybody
and
not developing any good young players except for Mr. Bailey. Like,
maybe the Korean center fielder will be like Ichiro. He'll set the world on fire. Surprise you.
Well,
I
won't hold my breath.
Bunty making everything a nuisance. Throwing out Terrence Long at third base. No, I'm just kidding.
Having the most ridiculous Spider-Man-like robbings of home runs. He climbs the whole right field wall in San Francisco. What a play.
And then I saw Sale went to the Braves. He'll probably turn it around and have an all-star season.
Probably. But I felt like the Red Sox, that was a good trade for the Red Sox as well. They got a young, promising Vaughn Grissom who has shown signs of being a good player. I don't mind that trade for either team. I see both sides of why they did that one.
That's funny. I think it was a good trade too but more for the Braves, because I just feel like they always get a steal of these type of things. It's like they did have to give up Grissom, but they kind of get what they need short term, and a great pitcher like Sale. I saw something crazy that Koufax, he's been a Hall of Famer for 52 years of his life. That's like 59. Like, probably no other Hall of Famer has been an actual Hall of Famer in their life that long, where you're announced a Hall of Famer, you live 52 years of your life a Hall of Famer. So that's pretty crazy that he's been around that long. My mom got me this cool book for Christmas. Like this, Casey got me this ballpark one last year, but my mom got this like massive one on like all the ballparks. So that's pretty cool. I've been like kind of reading up on some of the history with it. So Koufax has been in it, but I thought that was an interesting stat. I saw 52 straight years, Hall of Famer. So you can walk around saying that for 52 years of your life. Not bad there. Being able to do that. Baseball talk means a return to Jet. Can I go another nostalgic post for Brian or for Ryan now? Can I do another one here?
Yeah, go ahead.
We got with it. I had this one I was thinking for baseball games. I had this on the screen because this will probably be the last game in Oakland that matters. Is this one right here where they have the chant? I love it.
Because the Raves try to open the scoring and time has called. Things have gotten loud here. This is certainly a new experience in 2023.
Probably will be the last time. The last time Oakland will be able to get that loud. Maybe this year there will be a few boycotts along the way. I don't know where we'll be with that. Braves fans were making fun of Mets for Sanchez, Verlander, Random, and how they have Sale more. That's true, they do. And you're a Mets. Forget you as a Mets fan, you see Sale in there. You probably could see Sale crashing, but out here on the West Coast is watching the Braves from afar and always on TNT over the days. They just always TBS. They always just seem to get like this the little magic dust around them. It seems like around them all the time. So all right, so you got that with a little baseball talk. Giants back to back to this. Yes, back to F. John.
F. John Fisher.
That's definitely agree with that. Ryan, thank you. The A's. I remember it was like the Cubs are the only team to not sign a free agent. Like, what have the A's done? I guess they signed a random third baseman or something like that. So they did do something. People, they did make.
They get deep into those pockets.
They got deep into those pockets there with it. So, so we had that with it. All right. So Tyler, if we kind of get closer to the end here, I thought like if you had to say like a random stat player year, like give me like a year, a stat, and I'll look it up real quick. So like, kind of just give me a random year, like in any sport, and I just kind of know what the lead, who the leader was.
Major League Baseball saves 1994.
And what year?
94.
1994. All right, we'll look that up. Saves leaders in 19.
Because that's before it was like big to have closers get 50 saves, I believe. I think it's a lot lower.
Oh, and
anybody?
Those stats.
Yeah.
I think that was the strike year too.
Okay, we'll go up to 96 then, so we get out of that half a season.
The strike year. Saves have always been kind of a fascinating stat, huh? That's always
very up and down.
Because you'll have leaders and stats that mean absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Have Armando Benitez leading the league in saves, but below
exactly
15 as well. There was blind loyalty to closers back in the day. Like even if they sucked, it seemed like they were running about. He's our guy.
Well, it'd be I remember at times they'd have. I'm kind of getting to it a little late here. Jose Mesa from Cleveland led it in 1995, and then Randy Myers was number 2 for the Cubs. So I thought it was funny looking up random stats. Which you got to look up there. The list on there is it's a little not one you would expect. That makes it you have Henke, Beck, Hernandez, Slocum, Worrell, Aguilera. That was your top 10 save list in 1995. So I thought doing a little random check on it.
Good to see Shooter still in there.
This little Shooter still in there doing it.
That was Shooter at the Giants, not the Cubs, obviously.
Shooter McGavin. All right, so T, I was going to ask you, as we kind of got some of the sports things out, I'd say, what's been the harder thing for you? What's been the thing you've learned the most, and what's been the hardest thing about podcasting in 2023?
The thing I learned the most is, I don't think I've tried to practice it more, and I've been terrible at it. Consistency is key. Like taking those 2 months off from Fatboy was tough, and I set probably us back a little bit. And not in a big way, not gloating because it's not. You do everything, and I give you all the credit for what goes on here. But taking the 2 months off sucked, and consistency is key. And then patience. You just have to be patient. You can't let things affect you. You can't let views, likes, mentions affect what you're doing. Just have fun with it, and make sure you enjoy the process and enjoy what you're doing and enjoy who you're talking to.
It was a tricky year in this regard. Cause you were getting married this year, so there was a lot of inconsistency with that kind of going on. Then I was finishing up coaching and stuff like that. So there was some and it got a little bit. The Sunday mornings I think got tiring after a while because we were doing them earlier and stuff like that. So hopefully we find a good place with the 8:30 start here on Sunday mornings moving forward. Probably get you in and out in an hour most of the time on the shows. We'll have some playoff talk. We'll be getting into a little bit more Sunday starting up there. So podcasting for me this year was just kind of, I don't know, it just felt like it was a good year. I met with Brandon the other day with that through Variety Sports Network, kind of getting a feel for what we want to do moving forward there. I felt like that was kind of the best part in some ways. Maybe Fatboy had a little step back in some regards in terms of doing that consistently, but in that way, it did allow me to kind of branch out and do these other shows a little bit more and learn some things along the way, and was able to do some interviews with Mike McKinnery and other stuff like that I didn't think I would have been able to do before. So that was kind of cool. And then obviously having other guests on our show along the way. So that with it. And then meeting guys here, like I said, my guy Aaron here, that's my sports, having your brother come on, CP Sports, 3 the Hard Way, all those guys that chime in, and that kind of makes it fun doing the podcasting stuff. If it wasn't for that, it wouldn't be actually as much fun. So that's what I love. People coming in live like that kind of keeps the show going, the energy going there with it. So those are a couple things. The one thing I always get a kick out of, and that's the hard thing, is the tweeting for me and the retweeting for me. It's like I get too frustrated by people that don't do that enough. I got to get better at that. I always get. I got too. I'm like, what? I don't know. I think it's like a justice part of me where I'm like, come on, man, we got to do it.
It's why is no one like? It's so easy to do. Like sometimes I see people who I know don't retweet. I'm like, yeah, F them. But I'm like,
Yeah,
hit the buttons. Sometimes I'll not do it, but for the most part, I'm pretty good at doing it. It's just so easy to do. It should be mandatory among the network.
Yeah, well, it's just kind of funny, like in regard to like it's just I don't know. It's always fun to be Ryan. Appreciate it. 2024. That's one of our goals. I think is being more consistent with it. Maybe give you more breaking news when we can do that. Well, that will probably be part of our show too. We'll probably hope to do a little bit like random ones along the way. Just
midweek stuff.
Schedule works out, so we'll be doing that a little bit more along the way. Like you got the sweatshirt on there. Appreciate as well, Tyler. I appreciate it. We try to watch all your channels and variety of big things coming for all our sports. Yeah, you guys do a good job there. You guys are all over the New York stuff out there. I was listening to their whole Giants one. It was funny. It's funny getting different perspectives from people. And like, it's funny. I would have only thought like a couple of years ago, even that like I only want to hear from like the main guys on the main channels. But I do find myself watching more podcasts now for just like, in a way, what we call random. Like I'm a random person, right? Because I know it is a little different insight, and and some of us know a lot of what we're talking about. We just don't really have the background of the education to do those things or that kind of stuff. But we actually think about it pretty well, and it's kind of funny to get those actual real fan thoughts in that regard as well. And a lot of us are, a lot of them are pretty good at it. Like they do the background better than me. They do all that stuff. They do the topics, so they do good. So appreciate that, Aaron. Tune in there with it. Good luck to your Giants today against the
Rams.
You wouldn't mind that win.
No, that'd be a great win for the Giants and a big loss for the Rams. I actually want the Rams to win and the Cardinals to lose or win. So the Rams already are in the playoffs and they don't care about week 17. Yeah. Anyway, what you said about like I prefer listening to smaller people like smaller content creators podcasts and just get the real sports fans stuff that aren't like bought and sold. They can be more raw about it and more honest than like say the Bill Simmons who sometimes I just think they say anything to get people to like hit the likes and retweet and argue
which you need, but it's like I don't know if we want all that either. Like that's fake. It's not like your real self either at the same time.
Exactly.
You have to make up for that at the end of the day. Yeah, no, I think that will be. We've always talked about more guests. That's tricky because of the time with it, but I've enjoyed the process with it this year. It's been fun. Appreciate the support we've got with it along the way. You're married. That's other big news from this year as well. Big news there with that. Appreciate my wife letting me do all the podcasts. I'm still married somehow.
Very impressive.
I'm still married. So we got that. We got Talk of the Gridiron here coming up next week as well. So yeah, it's kind of a lot. Still learning the game there with the podcasting stuff, with the tweeting. I've been doing more videos, like trying to like do old school videos. Like I put the Warriors, the top 5 action on there. Like trying to just do some more stuff like that. Kind of really fun. At one point, I want to get back to doing the rewatchables though with the sports games. I got to get back to that. That's probably one of on my journey list too there. So got that. All right, Tyler. Winners, losers of the week.
My winners is CeeDee Lamb. My God, this guy's been unbelievable this year. He's unguardable. He seems to always be open. I didn't even have him in my top 7 receivers before the year. I think he's into my top 4 at this point. He's just ridiculous. Great week 17. Great week 17 by CD. He's the winner of the week thus far.
Okay, so I did winner of the year, Otani, $700 million. That's
he only gets $2 billion this year.
Loser, big loser. And then I go, well, it's only because he's DH. No, it's kidding. And then I got to go winner after yesterday's performance, the College Football Committee. Thank you for not putting Florida State in there. And then what's the whole thing that goes to my losers too? Is all these players that opt out of these bowl games? They mean nothing now, right? Like these bowl games.
Anything outside the playoffs are just trash. No one cares.
Like
all these people in the transfer portal, all these people going to the NFL, they're not playing. I remember when Christian McCaffrey did that his junior year before entering the NFL draft. He didn't play in the bowl game, and I was like, that's strange. And now it's like popular practice.
I mean, it makes sense for these guys, right? One injury, they're done. Yeah. But at the same time, it makes what college football it just makes it meaningless, right? It's a lot of these games. So the Mayo Bowl won't be the same. The Mayo Bowl won't be the same.
Outside of the Big Four, like the playoffs, yeah, the season's over when the season's over. These bowl games are unnecessary, in my opinion. Unless it's like the small teams who losers.
Yeah, Ohio State losers. Yeah, big time losers. Losing to Missouri. Missouri, a big win. Doug kept calling it a glorified scrimmage. He kept going. I think he was down bad though.
He was very angry, probably. My losers are the NFL reffing and the Detroit Cowboy game. Same thing as CD, but the guy looked like he went and reported. Jared Goff told him to go report. Then he leaves the camera. You don't see what actually happened. I had bowl games as well, just the trash. And then Dan Campbell
got distracted, right? The ref though.
I don't know what was going on. It doesn't make sense. Why? How are you distracted? That's your job. Like, take your time. You have all the time in the world. That's even a bigger loser if he was distracted. That's a terrible excuse. And then Dan Campbell. What have they started saying? Number 68 reported.
That's what he'll get next week. What was your other one?
Dan Campbel, when do you kick an extra point? Like, why we go for two, like you said, when it was 7-3, and then why we go, or not kicking the field goal when it's 7-3, and then why you? When you lose 5 yards from the 7-yard line, you're still going for two. Like, it's asinine to me.
The kicker. Why am I on the team?
What are you doing?
I mean, it is. He is so aggressive. It's hilarious. Loser as MLB fans, unless you're a Dodgers fan, need to fix salaries. Like I said, who's hurting the sport more, the A's or the Dodgers? I guess it's. And the player union will never agree to a salary cap, though. That's always the thing with baseball, right? They're not going to be like the players will never agree to this. Like Ohtani, okay, if they had a salary cap, right, the most Ohtani would probably make is like what, 300 million,
40 million a year, maybe 400.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like. At that point, it's like, well, I don't know if it's worth it. So that's what they say. So,
what if you put in a salary floor where you have to spend $150 million and the cap's $300 million? Like,
I think that would be something that's a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, as long as one goes in, the other can go in. You can't just have one or the other. Like one of the floor. I guess you could do the floor without a cap, but I still think
Did you imagine the A's spending $150?
Sell the team.
You have to spend $150 million. You have to. Then you'd have guys making money that probably shouldn't make money.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
You'd have some bad contract. You get $30 million. Good job. Or like you did a good job signing guys. You're like, darn it, we're one middle reliever short. And when we have $40 million to spend, lucky day, you get one for $40 million.
I just feel like we're playing our minor leaguers a little more.
We're bringing them up. We're not doing it. I don't think they would ever do that. That's the problem. But there's certain teams that need it. The Pirates and A's come to my mind right away. And the Brewers occasionally. They need
Raves.
Raves. They need a floor right away. All need it. So all right. So my loser week, I got. I don't know why, but I have the Raptors. I just feel like I don't know what they're doing right now. Like they're just kind of in a weird. I mean, they got Barrett and quickly, I guess, but like still, I feel like they're kind of in a bad spot. I feel like with them.
So you sided towards the Knicks for that trade?
Yes, I did. The Raptors one I didn't side towards as much, and then Cowboy love was a little much yesterday. Watching the game,
slurps.
Troy was enjoying it the whole time. Troy was having a good time on the broadcast, and so is the guy setting him up,
Mr. Buck.
Mr. Buck, cap floor, no more shared revenue. That's right. Yeah, and you shouldn't have to pay if you're moving your franchise. They dropped that for the A's too. They don't even have to pay that tax. So, big time loser there with it. Yeah, so I don't know. I thought the Cowboy love was if you're a Cowboy fan, it was all good stuff, I'm sure. But
do they do that? Do they do national televised games and do Ring of Honor, like honorees for each franchise at halftime without going to a commercial for normal franchise? Or is that just Jimmy Johnson, or did Jerry Jones pay the network to stay on the channel? Let's right the wrong. Should have been in the ring for a Ring of Honor. Is that an NFL ceremony?
I remember for Brett Favre
making the Hall of Fame. Did they?
Well, they did a Ring of Honor. I remember.
Was it a nationally televised game? I don't think
it was a Thanksgiving Day game. I can remember it because I remember this lady that we were away at Sacramento at this house, Hana, and we just had Derek board, and the lady was like kind of irritated her son for wanting to watch it. He's like, yeah, but mom, the ceremony's about to happen. It'll be like 5 minutes. It was like a 15-minute ceremony. I remember she was like pissed about it. So that's like the whole reason I remember they had the Brett Favre. But it's Brett Favre, Tyler. Of course he gets.
Yeah, Brett Favre's a little more important, I would think, than Jimmy
National. When did Jerry Rice probably telecast on Monday night?
I don't. Maybe they do it for all the Hall of Famers.
I think you just take a break. I think you load up at halftime. That's what happens. You go take a break. You get a breather.
I do normally not stay around for halftime. That's for sure.
You settle down. Check it on Arizona crushing Cal. That's what you do. You ask about that.
How embarrassing is Cal football? Basketball, excuse me.
Beat Santa Clara.
Did you? Where Santa Clara is at. Pods was instrumental in that team.
And then they had Williams the year before. All right, so yeah, those are our winners and losers of the week. All right, little shout outs here for everybody. We got our guys here that were tuning in. Aaron and Ryan tuning in, commenting. Appreciate you guys. 3 the Hardaway, P Shark, Ryan Harris, C Wood, C Henry, far into the bench. My mom, Xavier, who came on, Derek this year. Yes, Xavier was on the podcast, people this year, college football. He's on. Grace has made an appearance here or there, so she gets a little shout out as well on the show. Vandy, Chris, Terrell, of course, my main guy, got the T-shirt on. He sent me right now. Got my guy Brandon, CP, Aaron, as I said, Josh, Jimmy from seventh inning stretch, Josh, Logan, Brian, Casey, William Coolidge, John from Out of Your Falcon Mind, and of course Nico, who's been on as well. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few as well. TMB Sports, shout you guys out as well. So a lot to look forward to. New Year's on the way here. Got some football starting up in about a half an hour. Raiders, can we get the job done? Can we do it like the old BART station coming home, chanting it as we're going over the bridge, smelling those hot dogs from the people making them outside? Come on, I'm trying to slide our way through the bridge as fast as possible. Get a T-shirt here. Get a T-shirt. That's all the good memories, all the aura. Can we get it? Can we get it transferred over to Vegas today in Indianapolis? Big game here. So
is this the most excited you've been about the Raiders since the Derek Carr injury against the Colts? Many weeks ago.
16 points doesn't even get you excited, but we got a big win against the Chiefs. That gets you excited.
You sound excited. I guess
I'm trying to get myself up for it a little bit, Tyler. It's rare that the Raiders have a little something to look forward to. Fatboy FadeAway Sports episode 159. Tyler, good show this week. Covered a lot. Cheers. Hey, have a safe one out there. Yes. The Sharks, that should have been our loser of the year as well. Your Sharkies, not on the list, but 2027, they will be winners. We can feel it already. 2027 winner of the year. Sharks. Say it now. All right, Tyler McGurk, have a good New Year, man.
You as well. Tell the family I said Happy New Year. Or I'll text whatever.
Yeah, we'll see you for episode 160. Peace.